Welcome to the Uncut podcast with X. So leo niko na Bryson, a very good friend of mine. Kwaje Bryson?
Mi niko fiti.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, niko fresh mzee. It's been quite a while.
So nilikuwa nataka tuongele a couple of things. One of them being, sijui kama ulicheki majuzi interview ya Piers Morgan
Piers Morgan.
na Andrew Tate.
Oh, na Andrew Tate. Yeah, I think I remember it. Nimecheki.
Ulikuwa umecheki hiyo the podcast? Like uona kwangu umebelieve hiyo notion ya Matrix in exist?
Obviously. Major the way we have grouped ourselves, ukiangalia venye vitu tu zi work. Why ina happen? It's like we have certain groups that nika kuna majority that is classified in a certain way, and kuna inaonekana it's as if we have an elite group.
Yeah.
So obviously or definitely I'll say that the Matrix exists.
Na hapa in Kenya, do you think
Kenya.
that kuna hiyo like matrix that exists, like a group of people who actually control everything, our narratives, they choose leaders?
Hapo kwa choosing leaders tricky, but we can say that we have a group of people that they control some things. Let's say for example tukiongelea story ka bees, it's like they control how much you can do or how much you can sell or something like that, or what you can do, because you'll find that there are some other businesses you cannot do them. Okay, let me say it in this way. Ile yenye unapata hadi kwa mtaa tu utapata kuna biz fulani ndo wanzishe, lazima uongee na wase fulani ndo wakupe nika authority ya kunini. So it's in the national level pia we have something of that sort.
A sort of a Kenyan matrix.
Yeah, like, sort of a Kenyan matrix.
A group of people who actually control it.
But kwa election ingekuwa iko si tulikuwa na dynasty and it happened.
I feel like iko, but the difference was Ruto was more already in the government itself, so it was easy for him to know what's going on. But ingekuwa an outsider, I feel like they would have played him good.
Yeah. Oh, those people, okay. It happened the way it happened, because right now tunasikianga tu story. Nobody will come up with something that we can all point and say this is really what happened. So since we do not have the full story, I just choose to say that it happened maybe.
Yeah, in more of like controversy of
something of that sort.
Understanding what really happened. But more believe that this is like a matrix, of course, because kuna a group of people who actually vile mi uona nikitumia the Andrew Tate story, kwa sababu the funny thing about him, yeye alikuwa cancelled not before, because he was saying all these things and you so is it more of misogynistic, but time alikuwa cancelled is when he started now talking about creation, like how people, young men should escape the matrix in quote and create wealth, not go for an employment like the traditional ways. Alikuwa na speak against them, na that's when he was cancelled. So before then, when he was saying all these things for the longest time, hakuwa cancelled, but when he started saying these specific things, ndo sasa like he was cancelled. YouTube, Instagram, everywhere.
So ataka walimcancel. Okay, maybe tunaweza sema maybe we have something else just apart from what you were saying, because if you see people like Robert T. Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad Rich Dad, you find that he speaks about the taxation system and the government, that in such a way is preaching the gospel of escaping the matrix. But it hasn't been recorded that this guy was cancelled, and the message is more or less the same too.
But so ukiangalia at a sort of like at a large scale, most of the people who go against systems, hata ukichukua like the Bible as a sort of a point of reference, mtu kama Christ alikuwa amekuja na it was its own way of going against the system that existed, the matrix at that time, and in a repeating itself, like when you go against them, you usually end up dying. You have to pay.
Yeah, that's true, by the way. And maybe Andrew Tate is just another sacrificial lamb.
Hey, now one thing is, of course, for Christ, wangepata something to put on him, but like for everyone, they usually, like for Nani, Martin Luther King, he was accused of, rape.
Yeah,
So for everyone who goes against the system,
they have to find something.
Yes,
to pin you down.
And you'll always find something because every man has his own weakness at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what they found on. That's what walikuwa na claim. So the entire interview ilikuwa him trying to say justify himself, and also waliongelea story ya Israel and Hamas.
Oh yeah, Hamas and Israel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the questions zilikuwa zina go around is if Hamas is a terrorist organization or not.
Hamas, according to me, what I can say, you see, we are fed the MSM mainstream feeds us with what they want us to hear.
Yeah.
So if today they come and say, "Oh no, Hamas wasn't a terrorist group; it was maybe a freedom or a vigilante," we'll consume what they're telling us. But if we look at it, there's this time, I think it was Martin Luther again.
Yeah.
He was being interviewed by a certain American journalist concerning issues happening in Kenya. And they labeled the Mau Mau as a terrorist group. That time the Mau Mau were fighting for the freedom of Kenya. Yeah. And they were labeled as terrorist group. And he was trying to say that actually this is not a terrorist group, these are freedom fighters fighting for their own independence that was taken forcefully from them. And now the Hamas group, in as much as we can, I don't like fighting the Bible. People, if you begin speaking about issues in Israel, people will now begin quoting the Bible. But there's a certain, I don't know where I saw it. They said that if you quote the Bible for that war, you're becoming kind of childish.
Because I feel like before I even go and tell you about if I think Hamas is a terrorist organization or not, I feel like people are taking sides based on religion.
Sure.
And their originality. Like by default, the Israelites who are Jews will take the side of Israel, and the Muslims at large will take the side of the Palestinians. So kulikuwa na that people are being more biased. Like there's a reason why one should defend each side, but I feel like majority were just picking sides based on being biased, religion affiliation, or if you originated from a specific place. So by default, they'll just take a side.
Yeah, by default, the people will take a side. And I've looked at Palestine. You know, there are also Christians there. In Palestine, yeah. There are Christians there. And in Israel, I don't know why we Christians really push to identify ourselves with Jews. I really don't know. I don't have a good explanation that we are identifying with Jews, and yet if you just follow those Jews, truth be told, they really don't want to be associated with other people with Christianity.
Yeah,
because they're following. That is the Judaism religion, something of that sort. Yeah, they're following that with their old the laws of Moses.
Yeah.
And they really don't associate themselves with us. Now, us associating with them, okay, people associate with them, but I really don't know why.
But most Christians will stand with them because the Bible says they are the chosen generation and all. But of course, like it has to be much more than that. Because for me, outside looking in, because in terms of war, we cannot really, we from the outside, we cannot really judge it well, not until you are either involved in it.
Yeah.
But
or now you really know about it.
Or you really know all about it. But like from outside looking in, I feel like, yes, they may be the Hamas group in Ezekua, that it's not a terrorist not rather like a terrorist organization, more of a freedom. Because if you put people in a state where they are more oppressed, they don't have access to, the basics,
facilities and all stuff.
Yes. Of course, they'll just have to retaliate in a way, but I feel like they would have done it in a better way. So the fact that they killed children and women on video. It's recorded on
horrific.
video
Yeah.
doing it. So that takes away the element of being freedom fighters and involves the element of terror.
Okay, you see,
Yeah.
by the way, first of all, do you know that as we are speaking right now, we could have the same conflict with the Jews? Because in, I think it was a pact in the 1950s, the Jews were supposed to be relocated to East Africa. Yeah. If you can just look it up in the internet, you'll find that the Jews, they were actually supposed to be relocated in Africa.
Yeah.
But it happened they were relocated to Palestine. So the Palestinian people had to, it was not willingly, they were forced to give up their land to the Jews.
I thought this thing started long time ago, because in the Bible, of course, it states that they were still in war.
Yeah.
And of course, the Bible, it's taking the side of the Jews, clearly stated multiple times. I think even Goliath was he Palestine?
Philistine.
Oh, he was Philistine.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting my facts wrong.
Yeah, he was I remember David quoted him as the uncircumcised Philistine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you find that these people, they were relocated there. And now we have a certain war that the Israelites, they wanted more land.
Okay.
And hapo ndo kuna ile stuff here, the 6-day war. Sijui if you've ever heard of it. There was a war
tell
that
me about it.
It existed for 6 days. I think, if I'm not wrong, the Israelites, they wanted to take up to the West Bank. Kuna a certain place, Gaza inaitwa, a certain location inaitwa West Bank.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, they took up to the land. They wanted to grab more land. So they've been in constant wars. And that time, that area was controlled by Egypt. So actually, it is just back in 1919 post Second World War.
Oh.
Yeah, the war happened post Second World War. There was a war, and Israel kind of defeated Egypt. But I think they took, I don't know what happened, but later on they went into another war that lasted for 6 hours, and Egypt kind of won that war. Yeah. So since your time, unapata Israel has been constantly making aggressive moves towards Palestine, and kumekuwa na that particular notion. Unaonanga ka, let's say, us, we have this notion that you will say that people from this area are like this, and it has been fed to generations. Kids, they grow up knowing that people from Palestine, they're like this. People in Palestine, they're also feeding their kids with the same information. So people from Israel, they will treat people from Palestine in a bad way. And people from Palestine, they'll retaliate the same way. So I cannot justify killing children and innocent people, but you'll find that these children and innocent people, how we call them, because we are not there.
Yeah.
We are not there, and we know that civilians, they really even civilians are always involved in wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when, for example, let me not quote a story in Al-Shabaab, but you'll see that civilians are always involved in those wars. Ile design yenye, ndio they have been killed and all those stuffs, but in one way, there are certain things that they were doing. Because just me in my normal state, let's assume the Hamas group was a normal person.
Yeah.
He will not just come and begin killing your kids. It will be as an act of aggression that maybe there's something that has ever happened.
But can it be really justified?
No, it can't be justified. But again, Israel has been constantly bombing Hamas.
Yeah.
Not Hamas particular, but Palestine.
Yeah.
It has been bombing it. And the international community
has been quiet.
Has just been quiet. Yeah. And if you see, it is, I don't know how many people they side with Israel, but the world right now is kind of woke, and they know that whatever Israel has been doing to Palestine is not right.
But I feel like the West is has strongly showed its position in that, and its position is to defend Israel no matter what, because that's what they stand for, and they will support it till the end. But generally, I feel like you can't really tell who is in the right.
Yeah.
Because I can use the example of USA. So when the Europeans were now coming to US, they found people there.
The Red Indians. Yeah.
They are called the Native Americans.
The Native Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Red Indian is like calling a black person nigger.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I heard it from some YouTuber.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like a racist name for them.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
So they found the Native Americans there, and they fought for a while, of course, because normally when you get into someone's place, you usually fight.
Yeah.
But you can see how the country has grown through coming together. And even for us Africans, as we migrated, there were places where we found other people and fights happened. But usually the solution is ceasefire.
Yeah, that's always the
Because
solution.
there will be never a winner in such a war that continues past generation and it's transferred to other generations. It's continuous and it will never stop unless they sit down and have a ceasefire and find terms of which they can live together.
Yeah, in as much as many people are involved in that war, there's one I think one solution that has been constantly mentioned: a two-state nation, a two-state agreement. That Israel wants to annihilate. They're saying that they want to completely write off Hamas. They want to destroy them. But other people are saying, no, okay, Hamas is in Palestine and they have their own internal issues between Hamas and the Palestinian government because Hamas is not directly linked to the government. So people are saying that, okay, Israel, it is like, given that they're fighting with the Hamas, we just say they're fighting with Palestine because they're Palestinian people. So the only way that people are saying this war can be solved is we have a nation called Israel and we have a country called Palestine. It will be the best way to solve that country. The boundaries and all those things, they just come and agree, even though issues to do with boundaries, no countries. I've never seen a country solving it quite quickly. So
were you talking about whatever you're talking about, like two countries existing in one? Is it like the case of South Sudan
and North Sudan
or South Korea, North Korea?
We can say in that way, but initially this was not a one country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you see, there are certain countries in the world, they don't recognize Israel as a country. Others don't recognize Palestine as a country. So people are caught in between. It's just the same way hapa Somali kuna Jubaland na Somaliland.
Oh, but so people don't recognize Somaliland as a country.
Yeah, people don't recognize it as a country, but it's a country doing its own business.
Oh, yeah.
And it is not to that extent yenye tunaweza compare na China na sijui Hong Kong ama Taiwan.
This one is different.
This one is different because initially we had a country called Palestine. Maybe it was one country, Israel, and this faction is trying to go away and maybe to.
And I want to understand something. Before, where did the Israelites used to stay? Like before
the Jews, not Israelites.
More of the Jews. Okay.
The Jews. We have Jews in Ukraine.
That was after displacement. Before displacement.
Okay, you see now
they had a home, of course.
Yeah, these people had a home, but we see that actually where were they?
They were there, but I've seen the maps. They used to occupy like a small area, but with time they expanded back into like taking the entire thing. The map was small, so they occupied a small area. Then with time they kept on advancing until now they have left the Palestine with a small
fraction of land.
Yeah.
Okay, but now the Israelites, because can we say this, that maybe they up to where they are currently, they stick with that maybe collocation and Palestine to be left with their own land.
What is their own land? So people will argue what is their own land because they have taken almost the entire place. Now they are left. The Palestinians are just left with a small
section.
A small section. And
there's this thing that they are. I heard it somewhere. There was a certain war that happened in '87, if I'm not wrong. In the 1980s. Now the Palestinian people are crying that we want a pre-'87 Palestine. That because during that time there was that war and Israel expanded. They took more land.
Oh, so they want it to be reverted and have their own land.
Yeah, they want it to be reverted. It's like issue na Crimea and in Ukraine, Crimea and Russia. They want pre-2014 Ukraine. So that's what they're trying.
But whatever can be achieved to achieve peace, it's just for them to talk and have an agreement. I feel like the easiest way is just trying to coexist, of which itakuwa hard because it's throughout the generations that war and hate has been.
But they can.
Has been Yeah,
They can't
it's
coexist because
yeah.
if we can see the genocide that happened in our neighboring country, not neighboring, but Rwanda, we see that these people, the two tribes,
Yeah.
they were in a bloody war.
Yeah.
But right now, if you go to Rwanda and try to speak about anything to do with that, you'll be taken like they will deal with you thoroughly.
Yeah, because they have seen it.
They've seen it. They know the consequences, and they accepted, and now they're living as one
together.
people.
So it's quite possible.
Yes.
I feel like it's more of this organization versus the government, because the people who are there, I don't feel like people want the war. It's usually governments or organizations like Hamas and the government of Israel that's ready to do the war. But for the citizens of both countries, I'm sure most of them just want to live a normal life without war and have peace.
Yeah, sure. Then the way you just say that this war is more of a religious war.
Yeah.
Solving a religious war, I really don't know how that can be easily solved, but it is kind of difficult.
It's difficult.
If it was maybe a tribesman war, you will just say people of this tribe stay here, people of this tribe stay here. But to do matters to deal with religion, the Palestinian people want to identify themselves as keeping their religion in mind, that maybe this time this certain prophet was here, and we were given this land by this certain prophet, and all those, something of that sort.
Oh, funny thing, the two religions, actually the three religions usually are more similar at some point.
Yeah, they're more
like
similar.
Islam, Judaism and Christianity. They are similar to some certain point, but there's a point where they differ. Of course, we share prophets.
Yeah,
the Old Testament's prophets.
The point that most of these religions differ is the point where you now bring Christ into it mostly.
Yeah. There's a time I was like on this Elon Musk comment. He was talking about how Elon Musk doesn't believe in God.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Someone commented there, some Islam guy commented there that he should repent and turn his ways to Allah. Then some Christians were there, you should repent and turn your ways to Christ. Then an Indian guy commented down there, you all have the same beliefs, but you keep on thinking that the other one will go to hell. It was funny.
So yeah, it's a religious war, and
it's hard to end it. But
and now you see in the Middle East. Now, if you bring in a story in the US, they usually say that when you see the American people in your land, no, they're not after you. They're after their own self-interest. And if you just look at the geopolitics in the Middle East, you find that the remaining stronghold that the US has is Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is Israel. And they cannot, the way we know them, they wouldn't really let it go. Because if they let Israel go, the other party that will be there is Iran. When Iran is somewhere, we have Russia already there.
Oh, okay.
So they will really not like it to be that way. And you see, the same, I don't know how this war will end, but if you look at how things are there, the US is in Iraq.
Yeah.
There has been some series of attacks
on
recently.
Iraq.
Yeah.
So Iraq is pissed off.
Actually, they're saying that it is an Iran-backed militia group.
Yes.
And again, if you see in the way Israel and Palestine are at war, Israel and Hamas are at war, there's this neighboring country, Lebanon, where you see there's a particular group called the Hezbollah.
Yeah.
They are much, I don't know how it's like the opposition party in Lebanon, and it is much stronger than the Lebanese army. So they have not declared war with Israel, but they have declared their support to Hamas. So recently I saw them, not recently, on 8th of October, they began some guided missiles attack in Israel.
After the 7th October
After
incident.
7th, they began theirs on 8th.
Oh, okay.
So since then, Israel and Lebanon, they're sharing rockets. So,
but of course, the ones for Israel are more stronger and powerful.
No. They are both using guided missiles and long range. And Israel has been keen on not using long range missile attacks because Hezbollah has them.
Ah.
They have a very huge stockpile of long-range missiles and guided missiles. So Hezbollah is much stronger than Hamas.
But I think this could easily lead to World War III.
It's if other countries come in, and
Yeah.
because you see, the good thing is that Lebanon is not at war with Israel.
Oh, okay.
Palestine is not at war with Israel.
Yeah.
It's Hamas, and there's another group that declared war now on Israel called the Houthis of Yemen.
Ah,
Yeah, and if you look at the world map, you will see that Yemen is some 2,000 miles from Israel.
wow.
2,000, literally 2,000 miles. Yeah, 2,000 miles from Israel. And they're launching missiles into Israel. So if you take it to perspective, how long 2,000 miles is, that's a pretty long distance.
Yeah.
They are launching drone attacks and missile attacks into
So everyone
Israel.
is pissed off with the
Yeah,
Israelites.
so yeah, the only party that Iran was supposed to, people wanted it to declare war on Israel, but definitely,
I heard even the Taliban were asking. I'm not sure how
yeah,
geographically it's
they
placed.
wanted to transfer their military,
Yeah, they were asking for these other countries to give them
their
way.
airspace. Yeah, but there's a particular country, I don't know which one it was.
Oh, rejected.
Yeah, it rejected. But now you see, if there's a war declared in that region, we can say Israel will be in hot soup. In
But
as
the-
much as
But
the
then now
US,
that's when the US says
the
we
US
will
has
come.
sent his naval strike group
Uh-huh.
in the Red Sea, and in the same Red Sea is where Yemen is launching its strike
Oh, okay.
through. So the US has been intercepting those missiles.
Oh, for
Yeah,
the Israelites.
for Israel, and now another tactic that the Houthis have decided to use
Yeah.
is do you call it hijacking the ships?
Ah,
Yeah, they've been taking the Israeli owned ships. There's this
the one that
there are
are
two
transporting goods.
yeah, from, I don't know, it's from Israel or but they are owned by Israelis.
Okay.
So right now I think they have hijacked three. The first one happened maybe close to a week ago, where there's this video circulating, even the captain dancing with some Palestinian flag. So they kidnapped it. Another one recently, I don't know, or when was it? I think on 25th or
They hijacked
24th of
another one.
November. Yeah, they hijacked another one. And there's also another one I saw this morning that I don't know if it is the same they were talking about,
Uh-huh.
but there's another ship has been hijacked again.
Wow, that's
Yeah, so
that's
it's something pretty. It can be messy if a mistake happens, and you see the Middle East is, in as much as you think Israel is strong, we have countries like Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey, militarily Turkey is quite strong. Then,
but my issue is when other countries start coming in, because the West is fully pro-Israel. So when other countries start coming in, they'll also have to come in and defend their own.
they'll have to defend their own, but they have been careful about it.
Yeah, because one step could lead to a bigger.
Yeah, just one step.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Israel knows whom he's able to mess with, because maybe the Israelis can launch attacks to Yemen, and Yemen, it has been it has been experiencing some instability.
Yeah.
And Lebanon, its government resigned recently. I don't know when was it, 2021.
Or they took over. Whatever took over.
No, the previous government just resigned because it was like there was no money. They were only depending on
AIDS.
Not AIDS, but how do you call them? Diaspora
or remittance.
Yeah.
I feel like we are also doing it as a country in Kenya, because we are over depending on diaspora remittance, mostly for our foreign.
Actually, that's largely what might save us, maybe, because we don't have something that will say this particular thing will save us. That's why you're seeing the government is really overworking, trusting other governments to give us jobs. They're trusting foreign governments.
But I feel like those are lies. Anyway, we were supposed to talk about the new Argentina president.